Hello, ghouls and goblins. Nick here. Hope everyone's doing well today. I am back with another book review. Today we're looking at an indie author book. This is Bumps in the Night, Book 2, Nostalgic Nightmare by Mr. A.D. Aro, who is a cool Instagram friend of mine who I've followed a long time and get a lot of inspiration from. And I was very excited to finally dive into the second Bumps in the Night book. I have read number 1 and 3. I skipped this one. I think I must have had other stuff going on at the time. So I just kind of put it away after I bought it and finally found it again and really wanted to read it. So I will, of course, go over the book and what I felt about it here in a moment. But first, we want to discuss this really cool cover. It features a brother and a sister. We have Zelda here and Mario, named after their parents' favorite video game characters. And then we have this spooky looking guy here. Looks like he's eating the walkway here. And you see a lot of 90s theme things kind of flying up in the air. There's a troll doll, one of those sticky hands, which I thought was very funny. A slinky and a little Tamagotchi in the corner. Just some of the things there help present this vibe. So of course, talking about nostalgia, I love this particular book in terms of its, love letter to the 90s. I was born in the 90s. I didn't get to experience it fully, though I do have a few conscious memories, being born kind of later in the 90s. Of course, I inherited a lot of stuff from my brother who was more of a 90s kid. Of course, stuff like Goosebumps, part of my social media is influenced by, and of course, other books from that time period. So it's a very special place in my heart. Of course, Alex A.D. Aro, he did a great job putting in all these references to, bring that feeling of nostalgia. Bumps in the Night books, they tend to take darker turns. They tend to be darker than your traditional Goosebump books. And of course, this one's no exception. I think there is a very sinister undertone to this. Not to spoil it, because I don't want to really reveal too much since it's an indie author book. I do enjoy the children's reactions to sort of the 90s stuff. Zelda and Mario in this case were born in the 2010s. As opposed to a Game Boy, Mario's playing a Switch, and of course he thinks a lot of the 90s stuff is odd, and it's not Fortnite, which I don't really know a lot about, but it's kind of funny, reading these books that mostly come out in the 90s, and then you get an impression of, those parents as growing up and what they did, back in the old days. But then it's kind of reversed, because now, as I've become an adult, and like the stuff that these kids think are weird or boring, it's like, oh man, I would love to do that stuff. I would love to go and play the Super Nintendo again and watch VHSs. I mean, you still can, but just re-experiencing that 90s feeling. So it was a lot of fun reading it and the different references like to Beanie Babies and Tamagotchis, which was very fitting. Yeah, another great release by AD. It was a very concise book. It was one that I finished in one setting. It kept me engaged enough just because I wanted to find out what was going to happen next. How was this 90s trip, so to speak, going to turn nasty? It talks a lot about I think just obsession and being obsessed with things to an unhealthy point. Quite enjoyed that quite a bit. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you've read Nostalgic Nightmare, what do you think? I look forward to reading more of Alex's books and more other indie authors in the future. And as always, I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye.